What's up, diggity do, it's your boy Jordan CS No here, and welcome back to another cringy ass video on the dark web. And I bet you guys will never be able to guess what today's video is about. Is it A, about Sony fanboys, B, about Sony fanboys, or C, is it a Minecraft Let's Play that nobody will watch? Okay, or D, yes, it's about Sony fanboys. Oh my god, whoa, you guessed it. Oh, congratulations, here's your medal. Now today's video comes from a channel by the name of SupaNova Gaming, which, you know, is your typical Sony fanboy channel that thinks they're really cool and funny and smart, but actually isn't. I don't know, I said all of this in the last video I made on him, aka the first one from 10 months ago. You can go watch that if you want, or don't. As long as you watch this video, I'm fine. But anyway, the video of his that we're going to be looking at today is titled PlayStation Games on PC Day and Date. In brackets, MY THOUGHTS! Now, my boy Cheems of Regret sent me this video, so shout out to him. And I watched the entire video, and I can confirm it is a banger of a video. Just an absolutely phenomenal video. So without further ado, let's just get straight into this video. Man, you know, you always gotta love those 2014 MLG dubstep intros. Honestly, don't know why so many Sony fanboys seem to love those. Maybe something in their DNA just cries out for those simpler times when nobody on YouTube was making fun of them the same way that we are now. Honestly though, if you guys have seen my Amazing Lucas videos, you guys would know that I have my own intro and I've been trying to join this super exclusive MLG intro club. In fact, here's that intro now.
What's happening, guys? SupaNova here, back with another video. This one shouldn't be too long, because there's really not a whole lot to say about this topic.
Not too long. Bro, your video is 18 minutes long. Bro, that was like 18 minutes of torture for me. Couldn't you have at least shortened it to like 10 or 12 minutes of torture?
Now, this topic is actually a couple days old.
Isn't this topic kind of a couple months old? Like, sure, God of War released recently on PC, but the announcement for it was from 3 months ago. You guys had 3 months to say all this shit.
But anyway, back to what this video is about. So a couple days ago, PC players finally got their hands on the greatness that is God of War 2018. And ever since then, we've been seeing articles about PlayStation devs pushing to have their games released on PC.
Did you guys hear that? It was actually the developers of these PlayStation games pushing for these games to be released on PC. Just remember that anytime one of these Sony fanboys tries to say, putting PlayStation games on PC will hurt the developers, make sure you bring that up next time one of these spugs says that shit.
And then articles like this one where this guy's trying to make the case for why every PlayStation game should now release day and date on PC.
Not gonna lie, that actually sounds pretty good. I kinda hope PlayStation do it.
Now let me be clear about something. As a PlayStation owner and someone who's owned every generation of PlayStation, including the PS5, I have zero problems with PlayStation games going to PC.
Alright boys, place your bets. How long do you think it'll take him to contradict this statement?
However,
oh wow, he really isn't wasting his time.
I'm only okay with it when those games have been on the PlayStation platform exclusively for at least a couple of years.
So in other words, you have a problem with it. Because what you're basically saying is that unless these games are released on your terms, then you're gonna be angry about it.
If games that are 4 years old want to release on PC, I don't have a problem with that. If games that are 2-3 years old want to release on PC, I have no problem with that. Do I like it? Not really.
So once again, you have a problem with it. Like, you can't just say like, oh, I have no problem with it, but then turn around and say, but I also don't like it. That means you have a problem with it.
Because I believe that PlayStation exclusives should be only on PlayStation platforms. However, I understand business.
Wait until later in this video when he shows that he actually doesn't.
Releasing a PlayStation game day and date on PC and PlayStation console? No, sir. You can go fuck yourself.
Literally why though? What difference does it make to your experience whether or not somebody else gets to play a game? It's seriously like a child being like, "Oh no, you can't play with my toy. I don't want to share my toy with Timmy because Timmy's a wanker." The only difference is that you can't go onto Twitter or Reddit and type out 50-page essays about why PlayStation is superior to PC and Xbox and use exclusivity as an argument.
Why? Because that's pretty much what they're telling me.
How? You're still able to play the game day one on your PlayStation 5 console. It literally makes no difference.
I just invested $500 in a next-generation console called the PlayStation 5.
And you got exactly what you paid for, being the PS5.
I handed PlayStation $500 in order to get their next-generation console, to experience the next generation of their games.
And you can. You can play those games on your PlayStation 5.
And they're going to go ahead and make those games for the PC guys at the same time? Those PC guys didn't pay the money.
I mean, they paid for the game.
I paid the money. I paid the $500 for a PS5 to play next-generation PlayStation games. Why the fuck should PC guys get those games at the same time that I do?
Because they also bought the game, just like you did.
Because if they do, then what reason was there for me to hand them my $500?
Wow, that is a really good question. I mean, you really gotta love how these Sony fanboys always try to say the PlayStation is the greatest console ever. But then when arguing against exclusives, they basically admit that unless they were forced to buy the console, they wouldn't actually buy it. Thus meaning that the hardware they actually paid for, being the PlayStation, actually has no value.
They owe the PC guys nothing. They owe me.
This is so goddamn entitled. What do they owe you? When you paid for the PlayStation, you got everything that you were owed, being the PlayStation that you paid for. At no point did they promise you any exclusive games.
So to even have a conversation about releasing games day and date on PS5 and PC, to me, is absolutely fucking ludicrous, and honestly, a big middle finger to me as a PlayStation fan and user.
Shitter.
I'm investing money into their ecosystem. I'm investing money into their products, into their hardware, only for them to go ahead and make games for guys over there. We don't deserve shit from them. I'm the one giving them money.
So is everybody else who's paying for God of War. Like, you do realize that buying a PlayStation is a completely separate transaction to buying a game. Like, even if these games release day and date on PC, you can still buy and play them just like you would before. It literally makes no difference. I don't know how many times I'm gonna have to say this.
I'm the one buying these games.
So are they. They also have to pay for the games. Like, these games aren't free.
I'm the one who's bought these games in the past.
Yes, but you're already one of their customers. Do you think they're not gonna want more customers? Like, bro, they're a company. Of course they're going to be constantly trying to expand their consumer base.
So, again, this idea of having these games day and date to me is ridiculous. It really is. And I know some people out there are going to be like, yo, SupaNova, that's a little bit selfish. What about them? What about the PC guys? Why can't they get the games too? Because to me, they're the equivalent of Gaspar Gomez and the Diaz brothers. And you know what, Tony? Tony, go ahead and tell the ladies and gentlemen what we think about Gaspar Gomez and the Diaz brothers.
Fuck Gaspar Gomez and fuck the fucking Diaz brothers. Fuck them all.
Here we go.
Nice fun. Different rap.
Thanks, Tony. Yes, fuck them. Bottom line, fuck them.
Well, this video is definitely getting demonetized, but I really have to wonder, where the fuck is all of this coming from? Why do you hate the idea of other people playing video games so much? Your experience isn't impacted by whether or not other people can play them. Okay, in terms of having fun, you will still have the same amount of fun that you would have whether or not other people can play that game. The only difference is that you can't write essays on Twitter or in the YouTube comments or Reddit about how PlayStation is the best because we have all these exclusives. That's the only change here. Like, it really just surprises me that these guys that, quote, love these games are unhappy about more people being able to play them.
Now, I understand the thought process or mentality of, oh, that's additional revenue that PlayStation Studios can, generate in order to put into their next game.
Wow, congratulations, you figured out how the gaming industry works. Here's your medal.
Totally understand that, and I'm fine with that. But again, for me, this needs to be years after the game released exclusively for a PlayStation platform.
So in other words, you're not fine with it, unless it happens exactly on your terms.
Like, for example, Horizon Forbidden West. If Horizon Forbidden West releases exclusively on PS4 and PS5, like it is, let it run its course for 2-3 years. After the amount of money you can possibly generate from the consoles has pretty much dried up, then you release to PC.
Yeah, but that's judging that Sony are gonna want to wait 3 to 4 years before seeing profits. I mean, the costs of video game development are getting more and more expensive every year, and the console market isn't exactly expanding. So how exactly do you combat this, you might ask? Well, you make the games available for a wider market, without directly conflicting with your console selling business. Hence why you put them on PC, because it's literally the largest market in the gaming industry. Plus, PC and console are completely different. They aren't your direct competition.
That is how you have your cake and eat it too. You both make the PlayStation fans happy.
PlayStation fans don't care who gets to play what game. The only people exclusivity pleases is PlayStation fanboys. They're the only people that are gonna care whether or not a game is exclusive. I think most PlayStation gamers, aka not fanboys, would be excited that more people get to enjoy the same games as them. I mean, at least that's the mentality of most of the PlayStation gamers that I actually see in my comments section. Okay, which shout out to you guys are cool. Which, just a reminder that in these videos, I'm not talking shit about the average PlayStation gamer, I'm talking shit about fanboys.
And the other big reason why I don't like this idea is the reason why PlayStation first party games and PlayStation exclusives always look and run so good is because those studios are developing that game for specific hardware.
That's called optimization, which I mean if Microsoft can optimize all of their games for 2 current generation consoles, 3 previous generation consoles, and PC, then I'm pretty sure Sony can do the exact same thing for 1 or 2 consoles and PC.
And when they're doing that, they're able to get the absolute maximum amount they can out of that console, right? Look at the games at the end of console generations. Look at The Last of Us back in 2013 on PS3, or The Last of Us Part 2 Ghost of Tsushima on PS4. The studios were able to wring out every last drop of power that console had to offer.
And they couldn't do the exact same thing and develop a version for the PC? I mean, I don't know if you'd know this, but PlayStation games aren't made on PlayStation. They're made on a PC in the PlayStation Development Kit, aka a PC simulating how the game would run on PlayStation.
Because that game was made specifically to run and play on that specific piece of hardware.
Not really, it was made to run and play on the PlayStation 5 development kit, so that they could then optimize and adjust it so that it runs on a PS4 or PS5. Like, the games were made on PC.
It's the same reason why iPhones run so well, because iOS is made specifically for their hardware. Where Android has to be able to fit a bajillion different types of devices with different setups, iOS only has to fit a few.
Yes, and you can still run games and apps on Android perfectly fine. Like, you can still have a more hardware-specific optimized version for the PlayStation 5. It literally makes no difference.
Now, right now, the way things have been with consoles, the console-exclusive games from first party are focusing just on that hardware. If we're going to start making games that are day and date on PC and console, they're not going to be focusing as much on the console anymore. So now all that additional horsepower they can get out of that console, all the tricks they're able to use to get as much power out of the console, it doesn't matter anymore.
You do realize they can still optimize the game and do all of that for the PlayStation version, even while developing a PlayStation version. Microsoft has done the exact same thing with games like Halo and Forza, where they've prioritized the console version of the game.
Because now the game has to also run on PC, with a million different possibilities of how those rigs can be set up. And yes, I know, PC guys right away are going to say, well, no, we can just adjust the sliders this way and that way, and you're still going to get the game that you were going to get. But no, because that game is no longer optimized specifically for the PlayStation console.
You do realize when they develop games for different systems, they don't release the exact same code to every system. Otherwise, that would be a disaster. There'd have to be 2 versions of the game. The PC version and the PlayStation version. The PC version is optimized for PC. The PlayStation version is, well, you guessed it, optimized for PlayStation. It's rocket science, I know.
The way it should work, in my opinion. Again, this is my opinion. I'm not a game developer.
Oh, really? Because it seems like you have a lot of knowledge on the topic.
If we're going to be doing this day and date shit, that's no longer going to be the case. and I do not like that.
I would argue against this point right now, but I think I'm just starting to sound like a broken record.
I also love how all of a sudden all these PC Master Race guys, who for years claimed that they don't give a shit about console games because they're the PC Master Race, this, that, and the other thing.
No, I think it's just more that we don't give a shit about the console itself. Like, we'll take the games, but, you know, we're not gonna shell out $500 for a console.
Now that they're getting a taste of greatness in God of War, all of a sudden they want all these PlayStation games to come to PC.
There were still people asking for all of these games to come to PC beforehand. Trust me when I say it's not anything new.
If you want to play these games, get a PS5 or get a PS4. That should be the case, right? It should be like, oh, if you want to play these PlayStation exclusive games, you have two options. Either you buy a PlayStation console, or you wait.
Or Sony could just release the games now, day and date, and just get all the money that they would make like 3 years later straight away.
A day and date release, again, doesn't make any sense. It also is not going to help sell consoles.
I mean, the thing is though, trying to sell more consoles that are sold at a loss already to people who will only play like one game and not invest in the ecosystem of that console is just straight up bad business.
And I know a bunch of PC guys out there are going to be like, listen, SupaNova, PC guys don't give a fuck about the PlayStation console. They're not going to buy a PlayStation console anyway. Well, again, I have to say, fuck them. Then fuck them. If they don't want to buy PlayStation consoles to play PlayStation exclusive games, then fuck them. They don't get to play those games.
Really have to wonder where this hatred of PC gamers came from. Just asking. Is it because a PC gamer cucked you or something?
Right? And the thing is, like, even if you're right, that these PC guys are never gonna buy consoles, well, guess what? If you just hand them the games anyway, they're sure as shit never gonna buy the consoles.
I mean, once again, they sell these consoles at a loss, so, you know, kinda makes more sense for them to just sell the games on PC and take out the initial loss of money.
There's a chance that someone playing God of War right now on PC may be like, holy fuck, this game is amazing. Ragnarok comes out this year? Oh no, I need to play that game as soon as it comes out. I need to get me either a PS4 or PS5 because I'm not trying to wait years to play a PC port of that game.
Yeah, I think you'll find that most PC gamers, myself included, don't really give a shit about games that release on other consoles. Like, if we can't get them on PC, then either we'll just wait for them to come out in like, you know, 2-3 years, or we'll just play some other games.
But if you just give them an out, of course they're not going to buy the consoles.
No, but they're at least gonna give you money.
But to just release games day and date with PC is PlayStation just giving them reasons to not buy the console. It's the same reason PC guys aren't buying Xboxes.
Yeah, but we are buying Xbox games as opposed to, well, nothing.
Why should they? Why would they?
I mean, if I didn't have a PC and I had to choose out of one of the consoles, I'd probably choose an Xbox.
Now, if there was some amazing Xbox game that was coming out soon, which right now there really aren't any, but if there was, and it was only going to come out on Xbox console, and PC guys were going to have to wait years to maybe get a port, there's a chance they may go out and buy an Xbox.
There's also a chance that they won't. I mean, me personally, I'm fine missing out on like one video game. Like, that's not worth buying an entire $500 console.
But with the games just releasing day and date in the Game Pass, Xbox gives them no reason to buy a console.
But they give them reason to buy Game Pass and the game itself, as opposed to them buying nothing, which is what would happen if these games were exclusive. And I think Sony are starting to realize this too, that not everybody is willing to spend like $500 on a single system to buy like one game.
Always give them the option to buy the console.
They do have the option to buy the console.
Give them a reason to buy the console. They don't have to, but at least give them a reason to buy one. I don't understand this mentality of, fuck it. We'll just give them everything. Fuck it.
I mean, that's kind of better than giving them nothing, because in return, they give you nothing.
Because Xbox could seriously be making money by selling the software to the PC guys, and by selling hardware to the PC guys.
Man, they could be making some serious money doing that. Whoa. I wonder why they're not doing it. It's almost as if they did do it and found that it wasn't as profitable as what they're doing now. Gee.
Honestly, anyone arguing for PlayStation to put its games on PC day and date, anyone arguing for any of these platforms to put their games on another platform day and date, whether it's PlayStation putting it on PC or Xbox putting it on PC, then what's to say that Xbox should just put its games on PlayStation?
Because that's their direct competition. However, the PC platform isn't. The PC platform in no way is competing with Xbox and PlayStation. The PC platform is basically neutral ground. PC is Switzerland. But honestly, in all seriousness, that would be great if they put all their games on Xbox. Like, if every game was on every platform, that would be epic. You know why? Because then, maybe, just maybe, these companies would actually have to make a good piece of hardware rather than just relying on exclusives.
PC doesn't need PlayStation to play PlayStation games. PlayStation doesn't need Xbox to play Xbox games. Xbox doesn't need Switch to play Nintendo games. Fuck it.
In all seriousness, how could that even be considered a bad thing? I mean, maybe that's just me because I'm not invested in like one particular company and all their console sales and all of that. You know, I really don't care. I just want people to be able to play games.
Because if it's okay for PC to play PlayStation games at the same time that PlayStation gets them, you are saying, hey PC players, here's a bunch of PlayStation games. By the way, you don't need a PlayStation to play them. That's no different than putting PlayStation games on Xbox, or Xbox games on PlayStation, and saying, hey Xbox guys, here's a bunch of PlayStation games, you don't need a PlayStation to play them. Or hey PlayStation guys, here's a bunch of Xbox games, you don't need an Xbox to play them.
I mean, maybe it's just me, but that seems like an absolute win to me. Honestly, like, Sony, I'm all for it if you want to put your games on Xbox. Microsoft, start porting your games to the PlayStation. Like, bro, all games, all platforms, let's go.
And I'm sorry, no. No, no, no.
Why though? That sounds actual awesome. I've said this before, but it's like a little child just throwing a tantrum because they have to share their toys.
If PC guys want PlayStation games, which, hey, I can understand, PlayStation makes some of the best games in the industry. If they want PlayStation games, they either wait for a possible PC port, or they invest in a PlayStation.
Imagine your life is this sad that you actually get upset over the fact that somebody else gets to play a game and you make an 18-minute video just complaining about that. Anyway, I'm kinda done with this video, I don't really care anymore, so that's the end of today's video. If you did enjoy, leave a like. If you're new to the channel, wanna subscribe, turn on those post notifications. Follow me on Twitter at JordanCSNo, or don't, I have community posts. Subscribe to my second channel, JordanCS2, especially if you watched the podcast that me and my friends did over there a couple days ago and you actually liked it and want to see more. Links to both of those will be in the description. Please don't send any hate over to SupaNova, it's really unneeded. But that's all for today. So, until the next one, piss off.